Hello everybody, meerkats. We're here in Botswana for World's Strongest Man, featuring a rather bigger variety of beasts, another 6 of whom are ready to go in Heat 3 of this year's Strongman competition. It's a heat that features one of the most resilient performers around, Lawrence Shahlaei. Mere cuts and bruises can't hold him back, but he's facing a very tricky field.
A strong man's journey often takes him down long and lonely roads, where it's all too easy to lose direction, all too easy to take a wrong turn. At times, it can lead you to places you don't want to go. But with the right energy and self-belief, the way ahead can lead to the destinations one has dreamed of. After veering so close to the edge, Lawrence Shahlaei is back on track. Last year, his personal voyage led him to the Europe's Strongest Man title. And now, he is eager to prove he hasn't reached the end of the road. His path now crosses with 5 other athletes who have their sights set on Africa, including the giant Georgian Konstantin Janashia and Russia's strongest man, Mikhail Shivlyakov. The journey to the grand final begins now.
I'm surrounded by furry friends today, Magnus van Magnusson. There's something different about you, Magnus.
I know.
Yeah. OK, well, it's great to see Lawrence Shahlaei back in the game, but what a tough group of athletes he's facing. Above all, Konstantin Janashia.
Konstantin shocked the strength world last year by finishing 4th in this competition. He's a fantastic all-arounder.
All right, we'll be on the lookout for him. But, you know, some of the other names, although less well-known, like Johan Els and Rob Kearney, are also going to be dangerous given the events they're facing.
Well, Rob Kearney is a fantastic log lifter. John Els is a really good truck puller. So it's anybody's game.
He's got a lot of heart, a lot of strength, a lot of determination. Is that going to be enough for Lawrence?
I think it might get him all the way.
Okay. Let's see. Event 1.
And bringing us the action from the Parliament Building Plaza are Colin Bryce and first up, Mr. Danny Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. James Richardson. So it is the load and drag. This is a tough event to kick things off with. 75 seconds, a 10-metre course. Going to pick up those sacks, dump them, and then the really tough bit, drag a 350-kilo minecart on brick. So the Dane, Leicht, 29 years old, up against Kearney, and as James said, and Magnus, amazing log lifter. And this dude, Shivlyakov, 3 times Russia's strongest man.
Ready!
Rocking the beret, and they're off.
Oh, your money's got to be on the former Russian Navy SEAL, very fit, very explosive, and the tallest of the 3 as well, perhaps the heaviest too, and that'll come into play when you have to start dragging these mining carts, which don't have wheels, and that brick is very porous. It's a huge amount of friction here.
Just getting it started is tough enough. Very difficult to get any momentum.
The shoes are slipping for the Russian. He maybe didn't test his footwear properly. I can see on the other side there, the Dane is maybe just in the lead, but it's all very close.
Leicht slightly edging it, the biomedical scientist from Copenhagen, at the far end. There he is. He's struggling, really looking over to see how he's comparing against the others.
We've only seen one man finish in the previous 2 heats, and that was Hapthor Bjornsson, 6'9", 200 kilos, and well, these men aren't quite in that league. A bit more normal mortal size at 6 foot. Still about 300 pounds each. So Shivlyakov just 2.59 meters.
Literally just inching the victory there.
Yeah, just 2 centimeters in the lead.
Literally centimetering the victory there.
Thank you, Danny.
Well, here we go. Janashia, the giant Georgian. 6-time Georgia's strongest man. And Els Africa's strongest man. But this is the guy we're waiting for. Britain's Lawrence Shahlaei. Always coming back from injury. You always think you've seen the last of him, and he comes straight back stronger.
Oh, he's an inspirational character, Lawrence Shahlaei, closest to camera here. And he's equal second with the Georgian right now. Else just ahead. And an interesting fact, Danny, all three former rugby players. Else nearly played for South Africa. Gloucester is who Lawrence Shahlaei played for. And again, on the far side there, Janashia.
Well, a little slip there from Janashia. Else really putting everything into this. Call him the Alsatian, which nearly works.
First time I've heard of it, but I like it, Danny. And look at Shahlaei there. Little fly move, he's spinning the chain to make it shorter. Haven't seen that before. I'm assuming he's trying to lift the front end a little bit, but he's running out of time.
Again, the friction here with those bricks, really what's slowing everything down.
Look at this, it's neck and neck. Oh! Did Janashia do an extra pull at the end? He certainly did there. That was cheeky.
Very, very cheeky. Well, that won't count, obviously. Else takes the load and drag. It's 5.82 metres, and Sarah Jane is with him now.
Congratulations, and of course it's practically a home crowd, which you can see. How did it feel doing that in front of the people of Botswana?
Enormous honor, definitely, and the feeling undescribable. Pulling that sled, I pictured something in my mind of trying to save someone's life, and I had to get them out of danger. Then there comes something to your mind that says, you will not quit.
Els Bells, well, with most of Heat 3 really struggling there, and Shahlaei all the way down in 5th place, it is an emotional Johan who's on top 5 centimetres in front of Janashia. Johan Els, the headline news so far. Next up, we're going to meet the press with this, the log lift. 2 mighty columns. Who's going to make the count? We'll have full story and picks on the way on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to the CoreGenix World's Strongest Man here in beautiful Botswana. Time now for the men of Heat 3 to take on the log lift. Over to Colin and Danny.
Thanks, James. So, the log lift, under the gaze of that statue of Saritsi Khama, the first president of Botswana. Very simple, 75 seconds to lift that log as many times as you can. 158 kilograms. Here's who's had a go. Els managed 2 reps, whereas Janashia managed 3, but really felt like he could have done more. Now, though, the turn of Rob Kearney. Fantastic at log lifting, and a great addition to the competition for a lot of reasons.
For anybody, coming out as a gay man is both the most terrifying and exciting time of your life. For me, the most rewarding part was people I didn't even know saying that I gave them the courage to come out, made them feel comfortable in their own skin. It was something I never expected just by proclaiming my love for, my then boyfriend, now fiance. Will you marry me? I really don't think I would have achieved this level in this sport had I not done that. Coming out and receiving all these messages from guys I looked up to in the sport of strongman for so many years saying, we don't care, we got your back. Strongman's a brotherhood. And to be in the mix of the guys that I have been watching on TV since I was, a 6-year-old, and being able to call these guys friends now really is the most amazing thing in the world.
So, the log lift world champ, Rob Kearney, will be facing off against Denmark's Leicht, in 4th position.
Who, might I add, is a tremendous log lifter. He's got the Danish log record, and Very similar physique to Kearney. Both men maybe just shy of 6 foot, which is actually quite short for strong men.
That's Janashia's 3 to beat. They look on course to do that quite easily.
Not keen on his legs, is he? Oh, all upper body power for life. Kearney's done the 3, so he's matched the Georgian.
Now, how much further can the world champ at this event go? Just equaling that 3.
Kearney, and that's him in the lead. Just over 30 seconds to go, and they're huffing and puffing. You've got to remember there's some incredible heat here, over 30 degrees. I imagine it's probably affecting the Dane more than anybody. Now, can Kearney hit it? Yes!
Well, he's up to 5.
15 seconds!
The question is there enough time for one more? He's going for it.
They've got to hit it as soon as they can. Oh, the power!
Just under a sec. Oh, I don't know if he managed it. He did not manage it. Still, strong performance. Leicht, the co-leader, 5 reps, and Kearney also 5 reps.
Yeah, you felt Kearney was the better log lifter there, but working the clock well was Michael Leicht. Let's have a look at this early on. Hitting it with great ease, uses his legs well, Kearney, but Leicht, he was just all upper body power.
Next up then, Loz. Good old Lawrence Charlet from Swindon. Up against the mighty Russian, Shivlyakov. Currently placed 3rd.
Take your grip! Ready?
This is a hard one to call. Charlet, he's on form. I'd expect him to do 3-4 reps, maybe 5. Shivlyakov, so fit, another great log presser. This could go either way.
That's 5 to beat. So Charlet's going to have to do slightly better than you're assuming he could.
Ooh, he didn't get that rep, Shivlyakov, and that took a lot of energy out of him.
So all eyes on Charlet. 3 so far.
You know, there's a factor here that you won't even see or realise if you haven't log lifted outdoors before. And when there's no horizon or no gym to look at, actually it's very easy to lose your balance looking into a pure blue sky. I think that's what happened to Shivlyakov there. Now, can he get this one?
Certainly what happens to me. Up it goes.
To equal the leaders, no.
Can't quite manage it. Just over 10 seconds now. Has he got it in him? No.
I doubt it. Maybe Shivlyakov, the fit Marine, can he do it? I think he doesn't realise quite how late the clock is.
That's that. Well, both men with 4. Tying for 3rd place.
4 for Loz.
You really feel like Charlet had more to give there. But Shivlyakov seems pretty satisfied. Getting off with a log. It's unusual.
Let's have a little look at Lawrence's press out from earlier on. Look at the left arm, locked out later. He's definitely got a weakness there, Danny.
That certainly mixes things up. Rob Kearney bouncing back brilliantly, sharing top spot there with Michael Leicht, and better from Lawrence Charlet too. 4 reps alongside Shivlyakov with some big events looming. For now, it is Leicht who occupies the automatic qualifying place. Loz still last, but with just 3 points separating all 6 men, everything's still to play for, particularly for a man who's made a career of bouncing back.
Last year I had a small injury, obviously, in the final, which was a bit disappointing, but apart from that I had a fantastic year. Performance-wise, the best year I've had. Body feels good, mind feels good, so when those two are working together, I'm usually pretty strong. You can't be totally normal to want to push yourself to do what we do. I think we're not all there in the head, you know, if I'm absolutely 100% honest with you. But that being said, I absolutely love it.
Well, Magnus, bottom of the group, Lawrence Charlet really needs to bust a move now, and indeed move a bus, because it is the bus ball. If I was to try and do this, Magnus, and coach me, if you will, what would be the one crucial thing I'd have to get right?
Well, you have to grab the rope, really pull on that, plant your feet, drive your legs and your hips forward to get the best pull possible.
Keep the hips forward.
Exactly.
Okay, looks like being a crucial event this in Heat 3. Let's go over to the action.
Thanks, James. Yes, all the complicated stuff is the technique. The rules are simple. Pull a bus for 25 metres if you can. Now, Rob Kearney, he was first to have a go. The rope was pretty high. He managed 12.69 metres. Leicht was next. 16.9, but really suffered. Shivlyakov did a little better, 18.65 metres. So up next, it's Els from South Africa. And you want to keep low, don't you?
You know, I was just going to say, a man who used to play second row in rugby, Els, I imagine he'll have a pretty low position, though. One thing I can spot straight away, his shoes, they're not rock climbing boots, they're just normal trainers. And he may well lose half an inch with each step. And he's got to do well at the events he should do well at, and this is one of them. If he's in first place after 5 events, he could go straight to the grand finals. Then from second down to 5th, they'll be battling out in the Stone Challenge. And of course, Danny, the last man in the heat after 5 events, he goes home early.
And he doesn't want that, and look at this. Here we go, up to 40 seconds. The front of the bus must cross the line.
Goodness me, he's pulling it at a strange angle there, almost fighting against the way the tyres are pointing.
Oh.
He's done it, though, is he?
He has done it. I don't know if he knows he's done it. But look at that, really taken out of him. So he managed 25 metres, 48.14 seconds, the only man so far to have got that far.
He certainly doesn't lack commitment, does he? He was absolutely in the zone there, then to drag him off the rope. Great result.
Well, I assure you that's normal. That's the trapezius muscle. Normal for these guys anyway.
It's maybe even particularly big for these guys. It's quite unusual. Janashia, here we go. Similar physique to Els, and you can hear from the grunting and groaning all the commitment too.
And after those first few pulls, he's off. Now it's about the momentum and the pace.
That's quite a pace he's going at, isn't it?
It really is. Look at this. Barely 20 seconds past. 48.14 seconds is what he has to beat. There's a bit of a sway going on.
Yeah, that'll cost him, staggering about. He's got to keep constant tension on the rope. You can't slow that bus up even for a second, or you'll lose the momentum.
Well, look at this. I think we have a new leader in this event.
Oh, yeah.
And there it is, 42.69 seconds. And a delighted man with enormous trapeziums. Trapezia?
Trapezius.
All right. Could be trapezii. Anyway, everything working for him.
Great commitment, that's for sure. It's a solid time. Charlet, he's the last man to go, certainly has his work cut out. Look at how much it took out of him.
Representing Great Britain,
So here he is, Lawrence Charlet. The man who's had so many injuries, which don't just take it out of your body, but really, I mean, the mental strain of an injury after all that training can really take it out of someone.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, if you can put it out of your mind, I think that's what Lawrence meant by a little crazy. Most people, once they get a major injury, it's always there, plaguing them mentally. But Charlet, well, he's mad enough just to keep coming back again and again. And this is looking solid. Perhaps the steps a little short, but it's up to speed.
Very good pace at the start, really slowing now a little, as you pointed out. It is slightly uphill towards the end. 30 seconds have passed, 42.69 to beat. This will be tight.
Wow, 5 seconds.
Will he manage it? Oh, not quite. No, 44.69 for Charlet.
I think he just lost his way in the middle there, or he could have taken a win here. He's gone ahead of Els, if you're a British fan. That's given him second place and good points. Again, commitment is a word I'd use.
Konstantin Janashia takes his first win of this year's competition. Charlet 2 seconds back and shifting into second on the buses, edging out Els, but at what cost? With 3 events to go, Lawrence has climbed 3 places to tie now Light and Shivlyakov, with all 3 men just 2.5 points off top spot and that automatic place in the final. At the bottom end, it's Rob Kearney, who's set to not even make the playoff. Next up in Heat 3, an event that could see Big Loz take a big win. Strap yourselves in for the deadlift, coming up on CoreGenics World's Strongest Man.
Welcome back, everyone, to World's Strongest Man in Botswana. Midway through Heat 3, let's get a quick recap on events so far. First up, of course, it was the load and drag, which proved difficult as ever, but Johan Els proved better than everybody else and took maximum points. Next up, Rob Kearney and Mikael Light shared the points in the log lift, which was anything but light, leaving Lawrence Charlet needing something big in the bus pull, hello there, if he was going to get back in the game. And he finished second behind Konstantin Janashia, which means that with 3 events to go, while Janashia's on top and Johan Els is in second place, Lawrence is tied in third with Light and Shivlyakov, but they're only 2.5 points off the top. It's all set up for a dramatic conclusion. On to event 4.
And for the deadlift, it's back to the Bahuruchi Cultural Lodge and Colin and Danny.
Thanks, James. So the deadlift, classic strongman event. Like all the best ones, very simple. How many times can you lift this heavy thing? In this case, 350 kilos. Leicht tried it first, managed 4 reps. Up to him. The turn of Kearney, who managed 6. But it was Shivlyakov who forged ahead at some expense. The strain giving him a nosebleed, but 8 reps. Now, though, the turn of the South African, Johan Els, Africa's strongest man, says he gets his inspiration from his family and his daughter Esme in particular.
Got this clipboard where I've got a training program on, and the one day she was sitting there drawing and on her own mission. I discovered the next day when I was going through my program what she drew, and needless to say, I've had that framed. It goes like this. There was written the world's strongest man, and then there was all the events was drawn, like here my daddy is doing the stones, here he's doing the axe fall. All the events were drawn, and in the one corner she wrote in a bubble, "My daddy never gives up." And on the bottom half, she put down, "I love my daddy." So, wow. And that just shook me up. Just to think that you're such an inspiration for your own child, needless to say, for other people.
Ready?
So not a man who gives up.
Ready? Yes! Ready, pull!
Well, this is a weight he couldn't even lift last year. Fascinated to see how much homework he's done. Good effort.
Down!
Well, that's one already. The equivalent of this weight is about 55 stone.
When you say it like that, you realise quite how heavy it is.
Down!
770 pounds, and well, he's holding it at the top just a little long there. He'll start going dizzy if he's not careful.
Be careful.
He needs to up the pace. I think he's going to be 8. Seems impossible at this stage. 30 seconds to go.
So I think this is a personal victory. It's certainly a personal best. Number 3.
Look at the sweat and the effort, but he won't give up.
Down!
Oh.
Are you okay? Doctors, you okay? Guys in!
Well, this isn't good.
I just started to black out a little bit there, I believe. And hopefully he's okay.
I have it up like
It's good to see you up on his feet.
With 3 repetitions representing South Africa,
And he got the last rep.
Well, as we've heard, not a man who will give up. And perhaps he should have at that stage.
Well, he certainly stood all the way up with it. It's a good rep indeed. I think everyone thought there might be some damage to his leg there. But I believe the doctor's first examination is he's got some bruising, but nothing major. Thank goodness.
Charlet then will have been watching that. Guy from Swindon. If you're not from Britain, do visit Swindon.
Down. Pull.
That's one already.
Down.
Nice. Fast start.
Down.
He's a very quick puller, Charlet. I mean, the one thing I thought of after Els got up was Charlet has had that feeling many times, being carried off by the doctors. I hope it doesn't put him off at all. I hope he still puts his all into it. Certainly looks good. There's number 5.
5 already, 8 to beat, 30 seconds to go. What's he got in him? Well, he's gathering his energy. Needs a little something from the crowd.
20 seconds.
Can't see him equaling or bettering Shevlyakov now. Just 15 seconds to go. There's 6.
And that's it for Charlet. Great effort.
Again, it's worth mentioning the heat here is incredibly high. These are very big men who just don't cool off that easy, so it's all the harder. And Charlet, 6 reps with 350. Not bad at all.
Over to Janashia, Georgia.
Ready? Ready? Pull.
Disappointed himself with the bus pull.
Down.
Yeah, and he wasn't exactly happy with himself in the log press either, but still gathering points all the while, and he's got long arms. Perfectly built for deadlift.
This is a statement of intent here, the speed that he's going.
And of course those big trap muscles built up through years of deadlifting and Olympic lifting.
Well, look at this. Still well over 30 seconds to go. He's already at 6, 8 to beat. He can afford to take his time a little bit now.
Okay, 2 more I think is possible.
And he's beaten Charlet's 6. Is that enough for him?
20 seconds. He knows that now. Oh, that was a grinder.
10 seconds now to show us what he's got. Will he take the lead? Will he win this event?
Oh my goodness! He still hasn't locked it.
Did he lock out? Oh, I'm afraid not. Not happy about that. So Janashia ties for first place in an event he really thought he'd won.
Well, he didn't quite lock out that last rep. This is one of the earlier ones. That's how you lock it out. Hips through. You can actually relax at the top.
Everything sounds so romantic in your voice. Nice bit of sportsmanship from the boys. And here is a meerkat.
Epic performance by 2 of the heat's big guns, and their big guns. Janashia and Shivlyakov, 8 reps each. Loz and Kearney also tied with 6. And here's hoping Johan Els can bounce back from that fall. For now, Janashia stays top and everyone else has the Georgian on their mind. Shivlyakov 2.5 points back in second. Lawrence third. It's over to Sarah Jane at our penultimate event, and it's a mammoth challenge.
Oh, thanks, James. Things are getting extremely intense as we get into the elephant carry. Nothing too crazy. We're not talking about actual elephants, but in fact, these 200 kg carved motifs which our athletes will have to carry for distance. This is a tricky one, isn't it, Magnus?
It is. It's not just the weight. It's top heavy, so you got to be really careful when you pick it up, and it presses against your chest when you're walking with it.
Wow, that sounds very intense. Now, there is a place at the final at stake. Is this added pressure going to affect our athletes?
Oh, definitely. They're going to be going for it, full speed.
Well, I, for one, am really excited about it. But before we get into this, let's continue the celebrations of World's Strongest Man's 40th birthday. Let's take a decade flashback from the 1990s.
The start of the 90s followed the trend set a decade earlier, with a surge of Icelandic power.
He's got to beat 52, and he's done it!
John Paul Sigmarsson ran towards another victory, at the expense of one who is often regarded as the strongest never to win the crown. Odie Wilson left perplexed as the Viking picked up his fourth and last title. But a young Icelander was about to up his mantle, and it was someone whom only a few had heard of outside Europe's most westerly island. Magnus van Magnusson arrived in Tenerife as a reserve, but left as the world's strongest man. Although the following year in his home country, rife with expectation, glory slipped through his fingers. Van Magnusson would finish second again the following year, this time to Britain's Gary Taylor. But the Icelander soon realigned the power balance and dominated for the next 3 years, bringing his title haul level to John Paul's with 4. As we edge towards the new millennium, the Nordic countries continued their decade of dominance. Finland's Jaakko Ahola became a double champion. Magnus Samuelsson's victory in Morocco brought the level of strongman popularity in Scandinavia to an all-time high. The 90s was an era of Nordic gods. But that would soon change. One man on the horizon would soon break all the records.
Pudzianowski, 5 world titles. I tell you what, elephant carry, he would have loved this event. 200 kilos, who can carry it the furthest? And he was certainly jet propelled. Rob Kearney, 63.5 meters, leads ahead of Johan Elst.
Now Janashia there, the man in pole position. His muscles. So first up, this guy from Denmark. Leicht. Currently 4th. Up against Britain's Lawrence Charlet, who is in 3rd. All of these placings as well really come into their own for our last event, last man standing.
Yeah, they're all so close. That's the crucial thing. And 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th will all go in to that face-off in what is a stone challenge.
Well, Charlet doing very well here. He wouldn't mind me saying. But the belly there could be a hindrance.
Indeed, I mean, Pudzianowski was the best at this, probably all time, and it was because he was so lean as well. As Leicht goes down, just crossed that first line, but Charlet's digging in, finding something extra.
Look at the determination. Slowing slightly, just a bit more, Loz.
The turn's hard. Almost looking up for some divine inspiration.
Well, look at that. 2 full lengths, a little extra, 65.99 meters.
He's beaten Kearney.
Well, almost 31 meters for the Dane.
Well, that certainly will put Charlet in a good position going into the stones, the last event. Maybe even the winner. Maybe he'll go through without having to do it.
Well, someone who wants to stop that happening. Shivlyakov from Russia. Up against Janashia. Currently in the lead. And he wants to get into that final. Now these elephant motifs that they're carrying, they're solid steel. And they are the weight equivalent of 10 well-fed 5-year-olds.
That's quite a thought, Danny. You need some long arms to carry all those kids. These guys might just about do it at the minibus, yes.
Well, Janashia approaching the 30-meter mark. So too the Russian, but look at Shivlyakov. really seems to be suffering. Down it goes.
Oof, totally exhausted, isn't he? I think he did too many deadlifts and really pushed his body to the limit. Now Janashia, he's 7 or 8 steps away from a place in the grand final.
That's it, I think. I think he's beaten Charlet, and he knows it. Down it goes. Meaning he will take the elephant carry, and he's straight to the grand final.
Nearly 70 meters, and what a roar. Well, Sheva, he'll be battling with Lawrence Charlet now. He'd have done 10 more meters, you know. He would have been number 2 in the heat, and he would get honours in that last man standing. I think it's Charlet now, though. I hope Sheva's all right, though.
Well, another jumbo effort for Janashia and another second spot for Charlet, just ahead of Rob Kearney. Paul Michael Light having a disaster, though, down in last place, which will cost him dear. For having led the group after 2 events, the day now finishes rock bottom. Janashia takes Heat 3's automatic qualifying place, Charlet sealing second, one of 4 men to enter the playoff, last man standing. As we've seen previously here, that should give Loz a huge advantage. It's the race for the Heat's remaining qualifying place in this year's grand final, coming next. Welcome back. Crunch time in Botswana for the men of Heat 3. Janashia's through. 1 place in the final is still to be decided. Will Lawrence Charlet be the first Brit to qualify? It's over to Colin and Danny.
Thank you. So yes, this new event, last man standing. 1 stone passed backwards and forwards over that bar. Has to be done in 10 seconds or less. So it's all based on the standings after the 5 events. Let's see what would happen. Well, it's Els versus Kearney. Whoever wins takes on Shivlyakov, who, of course, the fresher man. And after that battle, Charlet takes a turn.
Well, Danny, you see how important it was for Charlet to get that extra point. He'll be coming out last in this challenge, and the freshest of all. But first up, these 2 men. Els throws to Kearney, Kearney back again. And the first man ties and can do it no longer. And Shivlyakov will step in.
Again, so important to get that advantage, to get those early points.
Well, there's Rob Kearney of the USA on the left as we look at it. And now the big, tall, former rugby playing South African on the right drops it back over again. There's a hole starting to form there in the mat. It's so heavy, this stone.
This event, of course, replacing the traditional Atlas stones, but really is very effective. A real battle of wills.
Isn't it just? I mean, points are scrapped. But not for the man who wins the heat. He goes through after 5 events, but for all the others now, there's a certain face-off, which is rather nice and something that happens often in strongman.
So
they test the mettle of these guys.
Absolutely.
Kearney again. Oh, he just got the height there.
Who will run out of energy first? Who will have enough energy left to take on Shivlyakov?
So determined, Johan Els, isn't he? I wouldn't fancy facing him in anything, really. That determination comes into it.
Well, I think Kearney done his absolute best. His place now taken by a sweaty but fresh Shivlyakov.
Yes, but we did see him grab his hamstring in that previous event, the elephant carry. In fact, he went down very early there. He exhausted his body in the deadlift, and Els, back you go again. Now Shivlyakov, he can't take too long over lifting it.
Well, a man who never gives up. It does need a little bit of support from the crowd to keep him going.
Look at this. He's only been doing strongman for about 2.5 years. He's a phenomenon. Johan Els, oh, plenty of power there from the Russian.
Charlet watching carefully.
He'll certainly want this to go on as long as possible. The 2 men to tire each other out before he joins the party.
Els just has his determination to rely on now because his strength is waning.
Come on, Johan. Oh, he's hit the bar! And the whistle.
Absolutely.
Swap sides in the area.
Certainly can't knock him for trying. He gave absolutely everything. His daughter will be very proud of him. Great effort. But now it's the big two. Charlet comes in. Charlet versus Shevlyakov to finish us off.
So, both reasonably fresh. Shevlyakov. It's important to get it into that square, or at least it's sportsmanlike to get it into that square.
Oh, Shevlyakov taking his time, a bit slow rolling it in there. He's got to wake up to the clock. Oh, look at that, pushing it straight back in, trying to keep him penned in with tiredness, you know.
It's difficult right now to... Well, I was going to say it's difficult to pick who might take this, but looking at Shevlyakov, it seems to be tiring. Whereas Charlet, full of beans. Now, there's a lot of roll there. He's got to move quickly. Only 10 seconds he gets to get this over. Manages it.
Just, yeah.
But straight back. What an answer from Charlet. Again, though, it's rolled. He needs to get a move on here. That's taken a lot of time, and he's slowing. There you go.
He didn't give it a big push. He just slowly pushed it over. It's when it hits the other side is when the clock stops. The floor on the other side, and he certainly accepts it.
Well, there you go. Charlet, the Brit, advances to the grand final, the winner of the last man standing. It's a shame for Shevlyakov. He gave it his all, but just too slow. Sarah Jane is with Loz.
Loz, I am so happy for you, doing it for the Brits.
Yeah, so pleased. It's my 5th final now. So after the start I had, I wasn't sure I could kind of claw it back, but fought hard on the last few events, and I'm so pleased to be in the final now.
Talk me through how that felt, that battle there with Mish.
Misha's an incredible athlete. I've competed against him many times, and I think he just made a bit of a mistake, really. He kind of, you know, we had 10 seconds to get the stone over. I still had a fair few more to go, so I wasn't too worried, but the time ran out, so it's a tough event, that.
It makes it sweet, you know, when you do make it through to the grand final, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, commiserations to Misha, who just misses out, but congratulations to Lawrence on yet another stirring comeback. Our first Briton to qualify for the grand final, joining Konstantin Janashia. A very enjoyable heat. And nice to see Lawrence Charlet safely through. Well, next time we'll see if Eddie Hall can join him. I rather think he can. After all, he made the podium last year with damaged fingers. And this time out, the Beast has got his eyes on the biggest prize. We'll see you next time for that on World's Strongest Man.